Testing. Oh, yeah. All right. Y'all feeling them Kwanzaa vibes tonight? Y'all give it up for Baba Musa and Nature's Drummers. Peace, peace. All right, my name is Joseph Bosley. I will be your master of ceremonies for this evening on this lovely, lovely second night of Kwanzaa. Speaking of which, Habari Gani, beautiful people. I said, Habari Gani, my people. All right. For those that are new to the Kwanzaa experience, we open each night of Kwanzaa with Habari Gani, the Kiswahili phrase for what's the news, what's happening today. And the call and response for what's the news is the theme, the principle of the night. So on our last night, we had Umoja. I was gonna ask. Last night we had Umoja, which, can anybody tell me what Umoja stands for? Oh, look at that hand. Yes, ma'am. Unity, come on, sister. And tonight we have Kuji Chagalia. Can somebody else tell me what Kuji Chagalia is? Come on, sister. Self-determination, all right. So in the spirit of Kwanzaa, we ask again, Habari Gani. Self-determination, all right. We have a lovely, lovely program tonight, coordinated by none other than our historic, our elders, our leaders with the African American Cultural Alliance, the people that brought us the African Street Festival for 41 plus years. And to get us started, actually, before we get started with our welcome, Mama Blackman, I want to ask our eldest community member if we may proceed with the program. Does anybody think they may be the eldest community member? Miss Joyce Perkins? We have, look, I'm not gonna ask specific ages, but do we have anybody over the 80 tonight? We got over the 8? All right, we got 2 over the 8. Hey, come on now, beautiful. Y'all give it up for our elders in here in great spirit and great health. You know they've been practicing eating that Kwanzaa, the first fruits. So my mamas, yays, may we proceed with the program? Ashe. Y'all give it up for none other than Miss Janine Blackman, and I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Habari Gani. Oh, we're doing this thing, aren't we? Well, I want to welcome you here to St. Luke. How many years have we been here? Does anyone know? Yes, at St. Luke, but 41 years of doing Kwanzaa in the city of Nashville. So we're glad you're here. We want to welcome you. We want you to really be present. So sit back, think about 2023, moving towards 2024, and how you're going to be self-determined, your self-determination to feel better, to do better, to be loving and kind to your neighbors. So we welcome you to this space. The African American Cultural Alliance are sprinkled in the audience. I'm going to say congregation, the audience. So we're glad that you're here in our family and our village is here. So you guys sit back, relax. There's parts on the program where you can participate. So we hope that you do that, and we're going to give opportunities for you to make announcements or to share community things that are happening in the community. Because one thing about this event that's a little different is we come to get more knowledge about Nashville, things that are happening, and how we can support each other. So thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor, get out your phones, call your neighbors, your friends, text them right now, post on Facebook that we're here, and they're welcome to come for free. And we're gonna eat a little later, and the food smells good. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mama Janine. Look, I'm gonna stand right here where you did, because I like this spot. All right, so next on our program, we actually have the recitation, the reciting of the African pledge. And so this is another call and response where I'll need everybody's participation to help us acknowledge our African pledge. So I'll read a line, and if you will all rise, please. It's our pledge. I'll read a line, and if you will repeat after me. So, first, we will remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors. Glory and suffering of our ancestors. And honor the struggle of our elders. Yes, yes. We will strive to bring new values and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We will be loving, sharing, and creative. We will work, study, and listen. So we may learn so we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. And we will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide new direction for our people. And we will be free and self-determining. We are African people, and we will win. We are African people, and we will win. We are African people, and we will win. Y'all give it up for yourselves, the African pledge. Next, I have the honor of inviting one of our elders, a pioneer with the Africana Studies Department at TSU, founder of the Great Debate Society, Dr. Al Hadid. Please join us. He will be telling us a little bit about the history of Kwanzaa.
rajim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Nahabari Ghani, family and community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Wajel said in the Holy Quran, O mankind, surely we have created you from a male and a female and made you into nations and families that you may know each other. Surely the noblest of you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most dutiful of you. Surely Allah is knowing, aware. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, you should want for your brothers and sisters what you want for yourself. Ashe? Now, I intend to warm the house. I won't be long, but I intend to be strong. So get ready. Most of you know me, and if you would be disappointed if I didn't bring it. Inshallah. As founder of the Great Debate Academy and the Great Debate Honor Society, we greet you in the Kiswahili language, Karibuni. Welcome to the mothership Kwanza on Kujichagulia night, which is self-determination. As many of you know that have attended many Kwanzas, the African American Cultural Alliance, or AACA, has been carrying the bendera, which is the flag, of Kwanzaa for the last 40 years. That's a long time. Asante Sana to CEO Janine Blackman for asking the Great Debate Academy to make some remarks about the history of the Kwanzaa movement here in Nashville. We thank and celebrate AACA for its dedication and consistency. We thank AAC for its dedication and its consistency in the Pan-African struggle in the Western Hemisphere of the African diaspora in Tennessee and Jamaica. Let me qualify the Jamaica part. You know, Kwame, after the African Street Festival each year, he would take a love offering over to Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, and building the library, or the Marcus Garvey Library over there. Okay, so that's why I included Jamaica. As you know, Jamaica, St. Anne's, Jamaica, is the birthplace of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, who was the founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association in 1914. I know some of you are doing the math, but he established it in 1914 in Jamaica, and the reactionary black bourgeoisie ran him out of town. Then he came to Harlem and rebooted and came with it in 1916. Ashe? Prior to that, he went to London, where he met with Dusé Muhammad, who taught him a lot about the publishing industry, especially the African world community. Now, it was Marcus Garvey that created these colors, the red, black, and green bendera. And as you know, the Maulana Karinga decided that he would sort of channel Marcus Garvey in terms of the way Garvey established it. So Garvey's tricolors had the following meaning. He said that red stood for the freedom struggle. Now, I know sometimes we say the blood, but, you know, that could mean a lot of things. We're talking about struggle now. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But you have to think about red as the struggle. The struggle. Martin Luther King didn't envision a bloody struggle. He looked at a what? A nonviolent struggle. Malcolm, in his message to the grassroots, said there's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. And he gave illustrations of that. But Gandhi is another illustration of how that happened, as well as Nkrumah in Ghana. Ashe? Now, in terms of the color black, naturally, that's us, African people, whether you're in the motherland or in the diaspora. And Garvey was very clear on that. The color green, of course, is Mother Africa. Now, I know there's a great debate going on this planet about land. Hajj Malik said that land is the basis of freedom, justice, and equality. And if land is the basic in freedom, justice, and equality, now you understand why the Cherokee, the Choctaw, and some of the other nations in this country do not celebrate Thanksgiving. Ashe? Because the Pilgrims was not good news, they were what? Bad news. Occupation and settlement. Are you with me? Now, Garvey said this, looking at us worldwide. So we can't celebrate Kwanzaa in a vacuum. I'm trying to give you some context here. You got the text and you got the context. This is what we call commentary. All right? Now, our great leader, Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, and most of you refer to as Malcolm X, he wrote an epistle from Accra, Ghana. Not talking about Paul now. He was not one of the 12. We'll leave that for Bible studies. So there's the gospel and the book of Revelation. Leave it right there. Okay? Because Paul had something going on with the Romans. Check with James Cone and Jeremiah Wright. They'll give you the cleanups. It is time, this is Hajj Malik speaking now. He said, it is time for all African Americans to become an integral part of the world's Pan-Africanists. And even though we might remain in America physically while fighting for the benefits of the Constitution, that the benefits that the Constitution guarantees us, we must return. He's talking about what? Repatriation to Africa philosophically, culturally, and develop a working unity in the framework of Pan-Africanism. Now, I've introduced Pan-Africanism as a concept. Let's define it before we go too far. If we honor and respect the great W.E.B. Du Bois when he organized the 5 Pan-African Congresses, he said that Pan-Africanism means the unity of all African peoples. Later, when the Black Power movement was in full effect and Stokely Carmichael had to get out of Dodge and became Kwame Ture in Guinea, studying with Sekou Touré and Osejifa Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he said that Pan-Africanism is the highest political expression of Black power. Now, for our purposes, let us say this. When we look at our motherland, there are how many regions in Africa? There are 5. North, South, East, West, Central. Now, actually, there are 6. What is the 6th? It is the diaspora. It is the diaspora. So now, let us define Pan-Africanism by taking into account the diaspora. So then we say that Pan-Africanism is the global unification of the African continent with the goal of forming the United States of Africa. Marcus Garvey, he said one God, one aim, and one destiny. What did he mean? One God. He meant monotheism, so no one gets confused. Okay? Somebody got quiet on my now. I'm not going to touch anything sacred. I know I'm in the church. I'm not crazy now. If I was in a mosque, it'd be different. But we're not in the mosque, we're in the church. And that doesn't change because we're doing Kwanzaa. This is still sanctuary. Ashe? So in other words, we're talking about the total unification of the motherland, and Nkrumah said under the principles of scientific socialism to form the United States of Africa. So that means the AU, the African Union, has to claim us as dual citizens and give us our 40 acres and a mule on the other side. Are you with me? Stevie Wonder already has his 40 acres. T.G. Jake got his 40 acres. They are both in Ghana. So in other words, we have to have dual citizenship. We didn't go to the American embassy and requested a visa to come over here before Columbus, did we not? And we're not refugees, we're prisoners of war. Dear beloved family and community, our subject tonight is the origins of the Kwanzaa movement in Nashville. I'm going to set my decade between 1984 and 1994. Kwame, may he rest in peace and power, seems to suggest that we started in 1983. We're not going to argue about that. Let's say it started between 83 and 85 or 84, and we'll be comfortable. The first celebrations of Kwanzaa in Nashville originated in those dates I suggested. Kwanzaa has been celebrated in Nashville for 40 years, or 2 generations, with children, grandchildren, okay? In the beginning, there were 2 Kwanzaa celebration orientations, and they were both valid. First, you had the family-centered and you had the community-centered. And that's fine because Kwanzaa is a celebration of what? Family, culture, and community. No contradiction. Now, Doctors Shirley and Ron Lewis, Dr. Lewis was with the United Methodist Church, and they had been in Los Angeles and the Bay Area studying with the Maulana Karenga. And in that environment, they learned how to celebrate Kwanzaa a certain way. So when they came to Nashville for a period of time, they introduced Kwanzaa the way the Maulana introduced it to them. Are you with me? Now, so then, on the other hand, Baba Kwame Leo Lillard, whose father was a Garveyite, a follower of Marcus Garvey, and he was also a SNCC organizer in the Southern Civil Rights Movement, took a different position. He took the community position. I was with him, Rossi was with him, okay? So you had Baba Kwame doing the community-centered Kwanzaa, and then you had the Lewises doing the family-centered Kwanzaas. Are you with me so far? The family-centered celebrants were an ingathering of 7 families, their friends, and their invited guests. Each of the 7 families took responsibility for hosting one of the principals of the Nguzo Saba each night. Some Kwanzaa celebrants participated in both of these Kwanzaa celebrations. As a member of the Community Center Kwanzaa Committee, most of my time, energy, and resources were invested in this project. I was with Kwame and Rossi. Therefore, in order to remain scientific, I shall limit my remarks to what I know for sure through observation and participation. Because practice is higher than theoretical knowledge. Shay? All right. I'm not going to go too hard and heavy, but I got to make sure we get it straight. Obviously, there is a lot of folklore and revisionist history, scientific and unscientific, that has currency in the Nashville community. Hence, I intend to remain faithful to the verifiable facts. Now, if any of the brothers and sisters who were on the scene back in the day recall it differently, I'm 78. I'm not too old to learn. So we will have that conversation at the appropriate time. Ashe? Somebody needs to write a book about Kwanzaa in Nashville. I think it'll be a bestseller. The AAC Kwanzaa was community-centered, public, and open to the entire African-American community. Over time and space, the Lewis couple relocated to Georgia, and the family-centered Kwanzaa started to decline in audience participation. The seven-night community-centered Kwanzaa expanded from one location in North Nashville to all 4 points on the campus. Today, the celebration of Kwanzaa is a cultural, economic, and social coalition with a division of labor comprised of 7 independent organizations. Okay? Attorney Maria Hall and Kwanzaa Nashville Incorporated have been the UJIMA, Collective Work and Responsibility, the UJIMA Synergy, that has coordinated and promoted this cultural and intellectual coalition of Pan-African consciousness. We celebrate and thank Kwanzaa Nashville for its dedication and consistency over the years. This paper is a discussion of the first decade, 1984, 1985, of the Kwanzaa movement in Nashville from a griot perspective, majority of one. First of all, what is Kwanzaa? Second, what is the cultural and philosophical foundation of Kwanzaa? Third, how does Kwanzaa express itself within the framework of Pan-Africanism? Since Kwanzaa is a celebration of family, culture, and community, it is critical that we define these 3 concepts based on social science rather than folklore. Kwanzaa is a Pan-African holiday celebrated after the winter solstice from December 26th to January 1st. It is not a black Christmas, nor is it an alternative to Christmas. Kwanzaa is a Pan-African cultural holiday based on the first fruit harvest festivals found among most African ethnic groups, not African tribes. That's just like using the N-word. So let's call them ethnic groups, whether they are Khan, Ashanti, Zulu, etc. Okay? After the turbulent events in 1965, and I'm going to give you 3, follow me. 1, the assassination of El-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz in the Audubon on February 21st, 1965. 2, Bloody Sunday on March 7, 1965. Recall now that Hajj Malik, after he made Mecca and left the Nation of Islam, he went down to Selma and was there on the 4th of February, went back to Africa, and then when he came back to New York and Audubon, I think the OAAU dropped the ball in terms of security. You watched all of the documentaries on Netflix and so forth, so the jury is still out. But we know it was an inside job and it was infiltrated, you know what I mean? It's all of that. Then the other event took place on August 7th or 11th in Watts. That's where the Maulana was. And after observing the assassination of Hajj Malik, who played a great influence on the Maulana, observing what was happening with the civil rights movement, Bloody Sunday went all over the world. According to the history books, they were having the Nuremberg trial. You know about the Nuremberg trial? This is what happened, you know. So the trial was going on, and the American people was watching the Nuremberg trial. Then all of a sudden, they stopped it and injected what the state troopers were doing to our people in Selma. And it shocked the world, okay? Now, Dr. Maulana Kareem concluded that that cultural alienation was the fundamental contradiction in the African-American struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. In order to liberate the African-American nation from this domestic neocolonialism, cultural alienation, economic exploitation, political oppression, and social degradation, Dr. Karenga organized a cultural nationalist organization, not an integration or civil rights organization, but a cultural nationalist organization. In 1965, it's called US. Shortly after that, he decided to organize Kwanza in 1966. Now, side note, at the same time that the Maulana was organizing US in Los Angeles, Huey Newton and Bobby Seals were organizing what? The Black Panthers in Oakland. We won't get into that conversation too heavy, but it was a conversation between the Marxist-Leninists in Oakland pushing back against police brutality and the cultural nationalists in Los Angeles. And eventually something happened on the campus of UCLA. They were arguing about who was going to be the chair of the Black Studies Center there, and Bunchy Carter and some other folks, you know, got hurt and killed, okay? Now, so I won't get into all of that. You know the history perhaps as well as I do. Now, then let's look at this idea. In terms of the philosophy of Kwanzaa, it's not in a vacuum. Kwanzaa is based on the concept of the kawaida. And the Nguzo Saba is a reflection of the kawaida. Now, they're quite similar, but I'm just going to give you a little idea of the difference here. The kawaida is a philosophy that the Maulana put together, and it is broken down into, he loves the word seven, the number 7. Why? Because he was the 7th son of the 7th son. He's from family of 14. So he has this fetish or fixation on the number 7. Malcolm was the same thing. He was 7th child, not 7th son. Elijah Muhammad was similar too. You know, this, 7 sons of 7 sons, the son of God, you know. So now, the 7 institutions would be history, religion, economic organization, political organization, creative production, and ethos. You can see the similarity between Kaumba, Ujamaa, right? But this is the philosophy, right? Now, in terms of the Nguzo Saba deriving from the Kawaida, you come up with these 7 principles. And they are, as we well know, Umoja, unity, Kujichagulia, self-determination, Ujima, collective work and responsibility, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, Nia, purpose, Kaumba, creativity, and what? Imani, faith. Carefully listen to this. Is it by accident that on the 31st of January, which is New Year's Eve, our ancestors also had watch night? Are you with me? So we should start thinking about connecting Kaumba night with what? Watch night. What was watch night? They were waiting for Lincoln to do what? Sign the Declaration, the Emancipation Proclamation. There's a difference between Juneteenth and 4th of July, right? I don't know why we're celebrating the 4th of July. When you get some time, read Frederick Douglass' oration on the 4th of July. Maybe I don't even know why we're celebrating the Emancipation Proclamation. Why? Because only the slaves were freed that were in those 13 Confederate states. No slaves were freed in New York, none in Pennsylvania, none in Ohio. Are you with me? Lincoln said, if I could save the Union without freeing any slaves, that's the great debate he had with Stephen Douglas when he was running for Senate. Or if I could free all the slaves. So he was what? As Martin said, he was vacillating and equivocating. Okay. Now let me make it short because I know I have probably, am I okay? Okay, about 5 more minutes. Okay, all right. Well, because this This is almost a dissertation. There's a lot of master's thesis. But let me just step away from my notes and say this. We had the first Kwanzaa, we met at Ross's home, and he was at that time living 916 C. Ackland Avenue. That's over in South Nashville, right? Present at the meeting were Kwame Leo Lillard, myself, Rossi, and Jocelyn Jameson. There might be some other people there. And at that time, I think Jocelyn was expecting Sania at that time. She was expecting a child. So we met, and we agreed on the program, the schedule, and the location. We ended up going to the Carnegie Library on Monroe Street. And as fate would have it, it was free. Brother Timo Willis worked that out for us. But across the street at a big house that Timo owned, we had a group of Ghanaians. And their name, you help me with the pronunciation if I mess it up. I'm gonna try it now. I'm better at Swahili than I am with Akan. Odo Mankoma Karima Cultural Troupe of Ghana. So it was a dance troupe, and they were over there. It was like a village. Different ethnic groups. They were Akan, Twi, Ave, Fanti, and so forth. And you had a master drummer who was on the talking drums. And what he would do, once we got everything set up, what he would do, you can imagine this now. This is real talk here. You can imagine this brother on the talking drums, not the djembe, but the talking drums, right? He would come in, and he used to play the talking drums for Seji Dr. Kwame Nkrumah on the radio in Ghana. So he was top shelf, right? Traveling with the troupe. What he would do each night, we'd say, well, the principle of the night is umoja. He'd play that on the talking drums. Then he'd translate the talking drums into Akan and translate the Akan into what? Ebonics. You thought I wouldn't say English, right? Ebonics. That's our language. We don't speak English. They don't either. They speak American. Okay. His name was Nanana Daku. And the manager was Lord KK, and the artistic director was Jerry Gasmuth. What's that, brother? So that's the way we did Kwanzaa. We outgrew the Carnegie Library. We did all 7 nights now. We weren't playing at the Carnegie Library. And then somebody said we could go to the LRC at Meharry. We went over there, and things got interesting. Let me say this. I remember Del Rose, Mustafa Abdul Alim, Baba Musa. See, we had the Ghanaian group bringing the energy from the motherland at the Carnegie Library, right? And then when we got to the LRC at Meharry, now we have African Americans on the djembe. Now, they were bringing it so strong that they were actually calling down Ifa. I don't know which Orisha, or if they were asking Odumare for permission, Legba, Shango, Abatala, I'm not sure. I'm Muslim, okay? So, but this is what I did observe. What I did observe is that the energy was so strong that certain members of the audience went into a possession trance. Just like, you know, how people go into a catatonic, like in Haiti, Congo Square, New Orleans, Contemplé in Brazil, Santa Teresa in Cuba. They were bringing that. Now, you know, I'm a God-fearing social psychologist, but I was saying, you know. So it was strong. We were not playing with it. And then at another stage, there were some brothers that made the pilgrimage to the Nile Valley with Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. So when they came back, they brought down Ma'a. They was talking about Amun Ra and the Neteru. The brothers who were doing Ifa was talking about what? Orishas. It was very authentic now. That's time you're talking African-American dramas as opposed to Ghanaian dramas at the Carnegie Library. Now, I will just stop here and say two things. I would be remiss if I did not remember Brother Omar Jute and the Kwanzas that he organized at the Bethlehem Center between 1989 and I want to say 2006. And the highlight of those Kwanzas is like a gala. You know, you came with your former African attire, and it was a very, very powerful expression. And I would like to just, if you would, call the names of those queen mothers that he anointed and crowned. They're ancestors now, so when you pour your water, make sure we call their names, okay? We have Queen Mother Catherine Carr, Queen Mother Bernice Bronson, Queen Mother Granny Dot, Queen Mother Melba Sewell, and Queen Mother Zuli Ursary. Okay? And from time to time, Queen Mother Carr would be the elder advisor for the Great Debate Honor Society. Then, of course, we have to mention the creation of a Kibalon Image bookstore, because they provided the paraphernalia and all of that for Kwanzaa. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had kanaras and candles. Brother Yusuf, Baba Yusuf provided that. Now, he's an ancestor, and his son, Jordan, is taking care of business. He's also developing a building on Buchanan. Yusuf's credentials was a clinical psychologist. Jordan went to Morehouse, BA in economics. Then he went to London, where he got a Master's of Business Administration at the London School of Economics. So certainly he can continue his father's legacy with those kind of credentials, okay? And finally, I'd like to say that the first Kwanzaa we actually had in a church happened right here. And the way the connection went down, because people were a little paranoid about, whether it's a, Black Christmas or we're going to bring some voodoo in the house or something like that, you know what I mean? Call on these fertility cults and so forth. So what we did on Emancipation Proclamation Day, which is January the 1st, they allowed us to come in and to use the candle lighting ceremony like you have here, and that was the opening for the Emancipation Proclamation. I have much, much more to say or could have said, but I want to, as Othello said, obey the time. And we love you so very, very much. Thank you for allowing an elder, Griot, to walk down memory lane and call on his recall. It was a beautiful experience. Thank you for going on the journey with me.
Y'all give it up one more time for Dr. Al-Hadid. Man, giving us more than just Kwanzaa heritage, but Nashville history. And following, we actually want to just cleanse the space with an amazing sound bath from our very own Baba Musa, Nature's drummer. So we're going to give them some time to get ready for that. Thank you, Baba Musa and Nature's Drummers. Oof. Y'all feel that? That feels good. All right, moving right along. I'm gonna invite back up our host, our host with the most, leader, fearless leader of the African American Cultural Alliance, Miss Janine Blackman, for libations and acknowledging any babies for the new year. All right, do you need me to hold this mic for you?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so this is the time that we remember our ancestors, and we also would like for you to call out some names. We're going to start out with the trailblazers, the people who help us to be free. Let's start calling those names. Ashe. Come on. Ashe.
Shay.
Ashe. Come on, y'all, in the back. Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Some more Queen Mothers.
Ashe.
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 Ashe. Ashe. Cali House.
Ashe. United States Colored Troops.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. All right, there, sister.
Don't be too speak up now. You got some good names over here now.
Now you can call your relatives. And I'll call my sisters who passed recently, Valerie Jurgens, Deborah Harrison, brother-in-law Wade Jernigan, and then Gabrielle, who also passed away. My mother and father. Your turn.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
King Holland.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
Well, we remember all our ancestors. They're here with us. And Ashe.
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 All right. So, one of the traditions is we ask the question, are there any new babies for 2023? New babies? Okay. I'm surprised. All right. I know, my niece had a little girl.
All right. Thank you, Mama Janine. And for the lighting of the Kinara and our Kwanza ceremony for the evening, we want to invite Miss Jamila to the stage, a former and eternal great debate academy member, leader. Jamila, take us there. You need to do something? You want something?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you. Habari Gani? Kuji Chagalia. Self-determination. So if we have any children in the house, can I get them to come down to help me light the candles? No children? Oh, they've gone? All right. I was going to say, we could be the big children, because I know we're all children at heart, right? Say, while I have you all here with me, I just want to say, Baba Musa, that was a beautiful sound bath. I didn't know I needed that. How about that? That was very beautiful, very beautiful. And Dr. Hadid, that history lesson of Kwanzaa here in Nashville was amazing. Unfortunately, I never celebrated Kwanzaa growing up. It was me coming to Tennessee State, majoring in Africana Studies that actually introduced me to Kwanzaa and this wonderful community that we have here with us today. So I thank you for that. And thank you for sharing. Hello, how are you all? You all are so beautiful. Oh, you look so smart. So, how are you? I'm gonna ask if I can get you all to help me light the candles for the Kanar. Does that sound good? All right. So, let's see. Not sure how I want to do this. Here. All right, I'm gonna get you to come with me, and we're gonna start with the first candle. We light the black candle for the people, and it's the first candle here. We light this on the first night of Kwanzaa, Umoja, unity, to strive for and maintain unity in our family, community, nation, and race. So I'm gonna ask if you will help me light this. Can you hold this with me? That's for Umoja. Harambe. Harambe means let's pull together. And if you will, just come this way. Thank you. All right, and can I get you to help me? And what was your name?
Nyla.
Nyla? Oh, she who will succeed. I have a daughter named Nyla, so I know that one. That's a beautiful name. And what is your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. Oh, victorious. Yes. All right. And so for the second night of Kwanzaa, we light the red candle, which is going to represent Kujichagulia. That's tonight. All right. So can you help me light this candle? All right. Kujichagulia, Harambe, and Victoria. All right. Now, we would only light these two for tonight, but for the rest of the nights, we will go for green for Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility. We're gonna go ahead and light it for the sake of allowing the children the opportunity. All right. Harambe. Now, Ujima is tomorrow night. That's actually my favorite principle. And now we're gonna come back over to the red for Ujima, cooperative economics, to make sure we build our own stores, shops, and maintain them together. All right. I'm sorry, and what is your name?
Kathleen.
Kathleen. You're gonna recite a poem for us later, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
I've heard you, you're amazing.
Thank you.
All right. And do you have any other children with us? No?
Get this young man's name.
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Vincent.
Vincent. Oh, are you brother and sister?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Vincent, can you do this for me again? We're gonna go back to the green candle, and this is gonna be Nia, purpose. And then, can I get you to do the sixth candle? Is Kuumba.
I don't know how to use what I have now.
I got you. Teamwork, Ujima. And that is for purpose. And can I get you to light this for me? Come on over. Victoria. And this is for Imani faith. We believe with all our hearts and our minds and our leaders, our teachers, and the victorious of our struggle. And that is the lighting of the Kanara. Thank you. We have something for you all.
Thank you, Mama Jamila. So great with the young people. All right, let's keep it rolling. I know we've got a full program here. Let me see if I can get this phone to talk to me. You got a hard copy one? All right, what's next on our program? All right, we actually have a jingle, a Kwanzaa jingle. And to lead us in our Kwanzaa jingle, I was told our very own Baba Doc, Papa Doc, is going to take us there. Y'all give it up. Put your hands together for Papa Doc. Can I help you with something, sir? What we got?
Will the young people come back up? And I need 3 older young adults or a couple of adults to help us facilitate this jingle. Yeah, you too. Come on back. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's 7. Is that 7? Great, 7. All right, pass one out, starting with, pass it on down. Pass it on down. Now, mind you, I'm not Kwame Lillard, but I hope I do him some justice, because I know he's watching over me. And we're going to sing it to the melody of the 12 Days of Christmas. And it goes as follows. On the first day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 1 African dashika. On the second day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 2 Kwanzaa mats and 1 African dashiki. I messed up. I'm sorry, Kwame. I'm sorry. Let's rewind this. Let's rewind this. No. And I'm a little nervous too, because I walked in here, I was expecting to. Yeah, we go ahead. All right, let's start all over. On the first day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 1 African dashiki. Hold the sign up. Hold the sign up when I say it. On the second day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 2 Kwanzaa mat and 1 African dashiki. On the third day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 3 black Kwanzaas. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn. 3 black Kanaras, 2 Kwanzaa mats, and an African dashiki. On the 4th day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 4 Swansea toys, 3 black Kanaras, 2 Kwanzaa mats, and an African dashiki. On the 5th day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 5 Bob Marley CDs, 4 Swansea toys, 3 black Kanaras, 2 Kwanzaa mats, and an African dashiki. On the 6th day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 6 drums of drumming, 5 Bob Marley CDs, 4 Swansea toys, 3 black Kanaras, 2 Kwanzaa mats, and an African dashiki. On the 7th day of Kwanzaa, my true love gave to me 7 principals, 6 drummers drumming, 5 Bob Marley CDs, 4 Kwanzaa toys, 3 black Kanaras, 2 Kwanzaa mats, and an African dashiki. Woo! Thank you, children. Thank you so much.
Man, give it up for the Watoto one more time, the young people. And we're gonna actually blow out these candles so they don't drip wax on our lovely, lovely Kwanzaa mats, our second night of Kwanzaa, lovely Kwanzaa mats. All right, moving right along with this agenda, this program, pardon me. Oh, we have a community tea ceremony. And do we have a Doug in the building? A Doug? Yvette's here, you said? Dex. Okay, I'm sorry. I have a Dex that's gonna lead us in the community tea ceremony. No, all right, we're gonna keep moving because we have a remarkable. While we got our nature's drummers taking us there, we have a remarkable dance from one of our elders, one of our community leaders, our very own Rossi in Safari. Y'all put your hands together for Mr. Baba Rossi Turner.
Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. Here Shabazz was who brought West African dance to Nashville. She was a student at Meharry Medical College. Before then, I was doing pliés and port de bras and chassé, port de bourrée, glissade, assemblée, all of that kind of stuff. And she said, oh, we can do it like this. And it took off. This beautiful sister here, Marie Estes, she was in my classes when she was 4 years old. Did y'all see that fiery performance of Kwanzaa Nashville last night? We're in good hands. So she got the drumming from him, the dancing from me. But how did that happen? After Sankofa, the first Sankofa, Pyramid Productions, Sankofa, Ken Roberts created what? Uhuru, okay, the children's group. All right? I was recruited by MTSU to be a graduate teaching assistant, basically you teach all the classes and don't get no money. Okay? So, I had a sister by the name of Kelly Jones, who's now Armstead. She was with Sankofa, and so was Naima Dawson, and a few others, many others. Doc was in the group, everybody was in the group, all these people in the group. I left, she went and taught where? At the Village. So she brought the modern, the jazz and African that she had been a part of with my group to the Village and the Village group. I just want to make you understand this tree. This didn't happen, but it happened that way. So my primary task is to get you up and moving, but since Doc brought that part of the history, I wanted to bring that other part, and then of course announce that Ahia had made a transition. If you didn't know this sister, let me tell you just one thing, and I move forward. This sister was so bad, she changed her name to sound like a sound. No. We're going to have a program in honor of her later on, and unfortunately I have to tell you that Dr. Warren Moore, she's Dr. Ahia Shabazz, please, and her husband, Dr. Warren Moore, they don't give him much time to live at all. Dr. Warren Moore was what? Head of the Tennessee Human Rights Commission. He came through the civil rights movement in Memphis and ended up here and became commissioner. So anyway, all of that. So I'm supposed to get y'all up and get y'all dancing, but I had to share that a little bit, all right? So let's stand up just a little bit. If y'all don't mind, just stand up. One of the things I hope that everybody does this year after that wonderful sound bath is to take care of your bodies. Please, please take care of your bodies. And drink a lot of water, stay away from processed foods, do some walking if you can't run, and come to my dance classes and I'll wear your butt out. I don't even have to talk to him. Whatever he do, I'm just going to follow, and make it easy for everybody because I understand we got different age groups that are in here, But breathe in and breathe out. Shh. We're going to do a little Catherine Dunham up in here, okay? Now, Catherine Dunham is famous for what is called the Yanvalu, all right? So we're just going to move the chest. Boom. Boom. Just try to push it up and out. Loosen those shoulders a little bit.
I'll give it up one more time for Rossi Turner. Amazing, amazing. Thank you for getting us our bodies awake and moving. All right, we have a window for any community announcements, any new businesses that may want to make some community announcements. And then we also want to extend that window to anyone in the community that has a talent they want to share. So if anybody has a cultural offering that they want to share in the space tonight. Anyone out there? Oh, come on down, come on down. Community announcements. Don't be shy. Come on right up to the stage. Sister, tell us who you are and what you do.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tamara Bakes, and I am a newly children's published author. And y'all can give it up. It took a lot to write that little book. So I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I moved to Nashville. It'll be 3 years in March. And this journey that led me to write this children's book, when I was younger, you know how they would say, like, you can understand, but you don't understand until you get older? And so I never really knew why I like to be a part of, like, marches and social justice movements or just in general, like being a troublemaker, a good troublemaker. I followed my lineage way back, and so one day my grandmother, she was sharing with me, she said, you know, my father was a part of the I Am a Man movement, sanitation march. And so I was like, okay, it's starting to make sense. The reason my mom, she would just drag me along to stuff like the NAACP was doing at home. And for me, it wasn't talked about in my household. It was just something just was supposed to be understood, but really not understood. You know how your mama's like, just do it because I told you so? When I got to college, I went to Philander Smith University in Little Rock, Arkansas, historically black college. The James Cone was a graduate of Philander Smith. And for me, I was just always excited about, you know, if it was something that was with the community focus or community center, I just always wanted to be a part of. So to make the long story short, you all, I took all of my thoughts, everything from when I was a little child, and turned it into a children's book. So it's gonna follow me from me being a child, being curious on like, why I'm marching, to where I am now. And the work that I actually do now is I help elected officials, you know, get elected into office, but also I do work with the Vice President Kamala Harris. I follow her and do advanced work for her in the White House. So pretty much it's gonna follow my story as why we need to have more, you know, children as well, our age, black children, brown children, to also get in this political work and just to get involved. So yeah, and so it'll be released February the 9th, and I'll share it with you all. Thank you. The title is Plant the Seed, Lachey's Hermitage Journey to Change. Oh, it's gonna be on Amazon, so we're gonna release the link, and what I'll do, I'll share with you all, so y'all can, you know, buy over your children, or just share with the people.
I just want to add to the history a little bit. You know, if you do something long enough, it becomes history. So the African Street Festival and the Kwanza, I forget whether it was the late 70s or the early 80s when I started. I've done sound and recording and those type of things, and I was doing sound for a group here in Nashville called African Dreamland. I don't know how many of you know who they were, but it was Asheed Hemmings, it was and Mustafa. Yeah, because it was the three of them. But at that time in Nashville, there were no black celebrations for our culture, our heritage, our music. Like basically, there were all the other cultures were having. There was the Italian festival and the Greek festival and whatever. And these people of consciousness, the guys with African Dreamland, along with other people like Kwame, and it's been so long I can't remember all the people, but said we need to have something that we need to do. And in addition to that, it needed to be something that we controlled. So that created the first African Street Festival. I believe that was in '82. It's just been a long time, and I did the sound and whatnot for that, you know, the entertainment, you know, and after that, and I don't remember what year it was, but I know when I did the Kwanza, it was at Meharry. So I guess the one, if it was at Rossi's house first, I didn't do that. I did it when it was at Meharry. So the thing that I just wanted to share is that a lot of times you may do something like participate in an activity like this, or share with other people about this, the knowledge or whatever, and over a period of time, it just grows. And now here we are 40 some years later, and the African Street Festival has grown. We started out with, it was a flatbed trailer in front of Tennessee State when Jefferson Street went all the way through, because I had to run, what? That wasn't a flatbed trailer.
No, let me tell you what happened. We didn't have a stage, okay? So Ross said, hey, come, let's go. We went into King Hall Gymnasium, right past the security, all of them knew me. We got the stage out of King Hall, brought it back, and put it in the middle of Centennial Boulevard, and that's how we had it.
Okay, I'm sorry. See, my memory's wrong. I thought it was a flatbed trailer. Because I know I had to run electrical cords out of the building, run long cords into the building, run cords out. And the second was a flatbed. Okay, well, there you go. But here's the relevant thing is we made it happen. We did it. We did it without having to go to another community. We made it happen. We did what we had to do to make it happen.
All right. Okay. You know, when I came to Nashville, it was 1900 and something. No, I'm good right here. And, you know, I got to Nashville, and I really, I came from a very cultural area. You know, I came from mostly a black and Puerto Rican neighborhood. And I was dying when I got here. You know, I got here, I was like, man, there's no culture in this town, nothing. And you know, then I began to meet these brothers here. I met him through Baba Two, remember? I met him through, I don't even know who, but I met him so many years ago. But what I wanted to say was, as the street festival got bigger, it got better. And you're doing a great job, okay? As a former member of AAU and being on the committees and doing all the work. I used to run the food court for a long time. And I remember one of the biggest fights we had was what we gonna call the damn thing. We're gonna call it the African Street Festival. We're gonna call it the African Americans Festival. We're gonna call it the African Caribbean Festival. Just what the hell we're gonna call it? And over the years, we tried to do it all. I was over the Latin music for the street festival for a while. We had salsa, merengue. We had live salsa bands up there, okay? And we're gonna do all that again. One thing that I was really impressed with, not only, where's she at? Where's Maria at? Just, oh, there she is, right. But, you know, watching Maria grow up under the tutelage of her uncle and Kisa and the whole crew. But in those days, I remember I was talking to Musa about rhythms that we're gonna play. And so Musa was like, wow, what you talking about? And so we started, you know, he and I basically started exploring like salsa rhythms, guaguancó, merengue, montuno, son montuno. And we started putting that in some of our presentations. I was one of the older members of the Village Cultural Dance Ensemble a long time ago. I played with Karen. I did djembe. I did all that. And after a while, we started saying, you know what? We need to bring the diaspora, the full diaspora. So my point is this right here. I was so proud to see what happened last night because they asked me, they said, Chico, how we get to the Latino community? Don't ask me, because y'all was over there last night. I got in, I said, how did you get in? So, but I was so proud. The fact that, you know, this has gone full circle. It has really gone full circle. And this is the time for every last one of you in here that's under 30 to step back and think about, you know, what are you guys going to do? Because we're getting older. You know, I'll be 71 years old, man, in about 3 weeks, okay? Thank you. Musa, 216, you know, he's about 400 years. So we've been around for a little while. This brother here, I mean, I don't even know how old chaos is, but the point, yeah, I ain't gonna say go no more. But the bottom line is, look, they made a good point. We started this with nothing. And we didn't have a lot of funding. We didn't have hardly anybody to give us any money. And that's one thing about Kwame, he didn't like, you know, that handout thing. He was like, let's just do it on ourselves. Kwame didn't really like a lot of like, okay, let's sit down and organize stuff. Kwame was the type of person, the worst thing you could do in a meeting with Kwame is say, hey, I got an idea. Let's do this. And he said, all right, you got it. Go on, do it. And that's how we got stuff done. And that's how y'all got to get stuff done. That's how all you guys sitting in here, young, brought your kids, this is how we have it 40 years later, okay? And I want y'all to have it 40 years down the road. You can do that. There's no reason. Don't be afraid if you don't have any money, nobody's giving you money. You know what? You don't need no money. You put in your own time. You put in you just put in, and it'll happen. And it has happened for 40 years. Year after year after year. The only festival in Nashville that has never charged, the only festival in Nashville never had none black folk getting shot up, the only festival that has never, ever had to beg Nashville to give us money. Okay, we have one passed, but I'm just saying, we did that. That's Ujima. That's Ujima. That's Ujama. That's Kuji Chagulia. That's Nia. That's Imani. That's Umoja. Okay? And we didn't call it Kwanzaa in them days. So I'm going to get the mic up and, you know, just thank you guys for all coming out. But all you young folks sitting in here, I'm going to give you a charge. Give you a charge. Oh, I'm looking at you right there. You're pretty young. Give you a charge. Think what you want us to have culturally and make it happen.
Thank you, Baba Sifo. And then we got our final announcements from Baba Hutchinson.
Good evening. I'm Jamal Hutchinson. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here in Nashville, Tennessee since 1997. I'm going to bring this up. So finances is our next revolution, period, point blank. And what my wife and I do, what our company does, is we help families prepare for the future. So our goal is to build better futures through education, financial education, and doing insurance-based products. Let's talk about tax-free retirement strategies, legacy building. So the trust conversations, the importance of having a will, the importance of having some basic life insurance in place outside of your job. I'll say that one more time. Having life insurance outside of your job, not just the Gerber plans that you get in the mail. So we provide free, complimentary, free 99, free, complimentary, free 99 meetings, judgment-free zone. All right? This is really important for our community. Please get with us for more information. We also will be holding financial empowerment workshops over Zoom and Facebook Live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. We're discussing different things you need to have in place to make sure that your legacy is secure, your kids' legacy is secure, and your stuff is secure. One more thing is, let me make sure I hit all the points. So basically, free financial education, free financial empowerment, because if our personal finances is not in order, we cannot fund AAU and things like this. My goal, my big dream is that, like you said, I don't want to beg people for money because I've done the grant things. I want to fund it. We need to fund our own schools, our own institutions. We can't do that if our finances person is not in place. And we do all that stuff, so short spiel. Thank you.
Can't take pictures and talk at the same time. Well, my name is Joyce Perkins, and I don't typically get up in Kwanzaa, although I will say that I have been to many, many Kwanzas, whether it's here, over at Meharry, over at Monroe Street. I have been to every single one of the African Street festivals except for one, because I had to do a presentation on HIV and AIDS in California, and it just happened to be the same. I'm not gonna call names because I'm sure I'll leave people out, but like if I look around here, I mean, you know who you are, but I have known you for so long. I've known you since 1979. And you have been my teachers, you have been my mentors, you have been helpful with Kwame. I met Kwame when I was 20, and I knew him at the very last moment of his life with 2 children and 3 grandkids, and I'm so proud of all of them. I gotta say this because Dr. Adid is in the room too, but I have one of my grandsons that is gonna minor in African American Studies down at MTSU. And it didn't have anything to do with me. Like he just says, I do a lot of reading, I can handle this. And it's all because of each of you here and things of that nature. Joseph used to drive him from a Bentra, you know, and take him home. And so that's how I know Joseph, you know, over these years. But I'm not up here to do that, though. I'm up here to do something else. And those of you who know me know that I've been working. I went to TSU. I graduated in '80. I say that just so you know I'm not coming out from anywhere. I've been doing HIV work before they can even say the words down here because I had moved back to New York and I came back with all these articles. This shirt is 25 years old. This shirt comes out of Chicago, and Dan Bigg, if you look his name up, he was one of my mentors with HIV and needle exchange. He ran the largest needle exchange in the country, and he taught me, so I came down here and I said, we're gonna do this here. We did needle exchange, Reverend Sanders, Round Crowder, and myself. We did it underground with a whole bunch of other folks. So we know what to do. We know how to do it. We're dealing with another crisis of opiate overdose, fentanyl, trank. I don't know if you know, trank is another drug that is being mixed with all these other drugs. It is not an opiate, so it doesn't respond to Narcan. I brought this shirt just to show you. This shirt is 25 years old. Just hold it up for a minute. I can't read it, but I haven't got my glasses with me. But like, we know what to do. We know how to do it. It's like, do we have the will to really do it? And you know what? Just the way HIV was underground, black, brown people were dying. It wasn't happening a whole lot. People did to get these grants. And this is what's happening with the opiate too. I don't have to get into the politics here. We know what the governor is doing. He's underground, and there's not enough. I brought Narcan with me, and let me tell you, there is a lot of Narcan around, but they have it locked up somewhere. There is not enough Narcan. I'm not even doing outreach, but people know me. When Harry hired me in April, I said to them, this is not politically correct, you know, like I don't belong doing this work, you know, like this is just not 1960 anymore, you know, and here it is, 2024 almost. They said, Joyce, you know the community better than most. So what I've been doing is coming into churches, doing presentations, much different than what I'm doing right now. But like on the back of this t-shirt, it has a whole lot of things. I'll leave it out here so you can read it. But one of the things is Narcan. 25 years ago, we knew that we needed Narcan. And now our children, adults, older, younger, middle school kids age, they don't even have a chance to relapse sometimes because they're being poisoned with the fentanyl and with Tranq. Again, Tranq is, you can look it up, Tranq. It's another drug. It's a very powerful painkiller that's not an opiate, so Narcan will not revive you. I brought some flyers. I'm going to lay them out. You all have telephones. I didn't have time to make copies of everything, but there are phone numbers there. The most important piece is there is help. The health department over in Charlotte is doing amazing work. They have a good team. There's another program called ROPES that they do all the training from the state. The state gives them all the money to do Narcan training. It's not enough. I'm a reader. I'm just going to say what we need here is what they're doing in the cities. They have vending machines in the streets. Now, that's not going to work with this governor, but like we need help to go into the barber shops. I mean, everything that we did with HIV and AIDS, we need to do it with this episode as well, too. We need to go into the hairdressers, the barber shop, any place where we can just, people are willing to do it because folks know what's going on. I see people here knowing what's going on. I don't have to go through the details of what the overdose numbers are. And that goes for older folks. But I brought some, I'm going to lay them out so you can take pictures of the phone numbers. I think the most important piece is the piece around ropes, because what they want in order to get the Narcan is for you to be trained, and then you can get the, and the phone number is on here too. There's also, my friend Michelle is giving out, Harry has a really good program, and everything is free. Of course, if you have insurance, that's good, but if you don't, they'll let you come in for inpatient, outpatient, all kinds of treatment, including Narcan too. The health department right here on Charlotte, you can go in there and get Narcan. People don't know this. You can go in there and no questions asked or anything of that nature. And it's just a matter of, the phone number is here, to call to make sure things are still in order after the new year. Because the sad part of all of this, once again, is that everything is on a grant, including the health department. It's crazy that the health department might lose, I mean, I can't believe that they're not going to get money. But what I'm saying is their grant is up in May. Now that's crazy with what's going on. And they have like Dr. Ann, there's some people there that are, they're outreach workers. I mean, they're just really, really on top of what's going on. But we need some help, and what we've been doing is going into the churches. I'm gonna hang around if anybody has any it doesn't have to be a church, it can be like any organization at all. Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. And she has some flyers for Miss Stephanie Williams, Judge. All right. We got one more. Oh, we got another announcement. All right.
January 27th at the Beyond Aquatics, we're doing another sound and water therapy, sound bath and everything. So go to Baba, my Facebook page. You can get the information from there, kind of a thing. And one other something, Frederick Weathersby over here, he has this thing called Monday Night Jazz. That's you. So tell them about it, Frederick, right quick.
Yes, sir. Joseph Bosley is my close friend and brother. Thank you, sir. He's always given me opportunities. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without Father Musa over here, of course, and Big Brother Doc and the rest of the community. So there's a weekly showcase called Nashville Monday Night Jazz, and thank you, sir, for the opportunity, because I ain't gonna beg. It's cool. I appreciate it. It's every Monday. Our goal is to further highlight and to just keep alive the North Nashville music vibe and to bring back music back to the north side of town, which is where it originated. The original Music Row, Dr. Estes, you know, for example, which is Jefferson Street and in the North Nashville area, highlighting the north side vibe. I'm a graduate from Tennessee State University as well as Nashville School of the Arts, where Dr. Maria Estes and I were classmates in the jazz ensemble under the rigorous tutelage of Dr. Richard Griffin, who passed away a few months ago. So I've always been a part of the Kwanza vibe in Nashville, and I'm very thankful to be here. There was never a time when I didn't celebrate Kwanzaa or was part of the Kwanzaa vibe. I love you all immensely, and I have to thank everyone who's been in Nashville Monday Night Jazz and all of our supporters, including Dr. Al Hadid, of course, from the Alumni Association, Tennessee State, with the Africana Studies Department, for example, and numerous others. I love you all. Lamar Wilson is here. I'm gonna tag you in, brother.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? I had one announcement I wanted to make today. Who was in Nashville in 1960s? Okay, so today is Eldridge Dickey's birthday. Who knows who Eldridge Dickey was? Okay, I'll come down front. Back in 1964, the football coaches from Jackson State came to Tennessee State, and they switched. And Coach Gillum, Coach Merritt, and Coach Coleman came to Nashville. They recruited a young man named Eldridge Dickey, who was nicknamed the Lord's Prayer. In my opinion, the greatest quarterback I ever saw in my life. Give a shout out to Eldridge Dickey, four-time All-American. He was drafted by Oakland in the first round. Al Davis didn't have the guts to play him. He was the best preseason player at quarterback, even ahead of Roger Staubach and other great quarterbacks, but they wouldn't play him because he was black. They made him a wide receiver. It didn't work out. There's been a great sports legend, a legacy here in Nashville with Fisk, Tennessee State, but the first group was the Tiger Bells. As they told Dr. Davis, we put Tennessee State on the map. So we have a great legacy here in 37208 and a great sports legacy. I myself played football and basketball at Father Brown. You mentioned Africa Dreamland with Neil, with Mustafa and Daryl. They were classmates of mine at Father Brown. But let's continue to support our sports teams at Fisk, where they have Kenny Anderson, who was one of the #2 player picked in the NBA, coaching Fisk. Support them. They need your help. TSU, what's the young man's name who was coach at TSU? Yeah, basketball coach. Yeah, but Monday Night Jazz, this guy right here, he and we started Monday Night Jazz with Frederick and Stefan, and it still goes today. I'm very proud of that. Keep up the good work. At Soder Studio. So that's all I want. Just want to everybody give a shout out for Eldridge Dickey. In my opinion, the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen play. And there's something called the HBCU Hall of Fame team. He's the quarterback. So in 40 years of quarterbacks from HBCUs, he's still the best quarterback they've ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Brother Weathersby and Baba Lamar. Look, if I'm moving too fast, does anybody else have announcements? I'm gonna put it out there. It's Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. You speak of, come on.
Hello, family. My title is Dr. Julie Stinson Reynolds. I own Middle Tennessee Internal Medicine Associates, which is in South Nashville. And so I am a Black business owner, a female Black business owner in medicine. And I'm a little bit different because I will work with you. I will meet you where you are. You know, a lot of physicians just say, here, take this pill and won't talk to you about it, but we'll have a discussion. The other thing I wanted to add in terms of movement that Baba Rossi was talking about and being healthy and water and good food is also a mindset. And just thinking that self-determination piece, we can be healthy. You know, we don't see a lot in our community about health, except for in this building, in this community. But I've lost almost 100 pounds over 4 years. So it can be done. And so I just want y'all to be healthy. But I'm in South Nashville.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Look, I didn't know you was a doctor now. I have you every day. Come forth, brother. Come forth. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll come to you, brother.
Hey, brother, I just have a challenge for everyone here. This is going to 2024. This is going to be a pivotal year. We can sit back and talk, but what we need to do, we need to vote. I mean, it's not all the young people here. Talk to your friends. This is crucial, y'all. You know, we giving y'all the baton. Go with it. This is your world, you know. And all I got to say is you have an obligation, a responsibility to vote to make a difference. Now, I'm going to just say it. Be the change that you want to see. That's my challenge. Be the change you want to see.
Ashe. All right, look, I was told I need to remind everybody we have food after this, so please hang tight. We are just about at the end of our program, but before we close, we have a special treat from the Barlow family. Can I ask the Barlow family to join us on stage? We have a young Barlow providing us a poem, a young Kathleen. We have Pastor Barlow that's gonna share some words regarding the STCC land grant, and also a Jolene Barlow that's gonna share a song. Can I get the Barlow family to come on? Oh, the Barlow family are not in here at the moment. All right, look. So also I want to just give everybody awareness. Once we're done with our final portion of the program, we will close with our Harambe circle. Harambe means let's come together. And as we join hands for the Harambe circle, we will recite all the principles, the Nguzo Saba of Kwanzaa, and raise our hands. And we have one more announcement. Yes, Queen.
Last year, and if those of you who remember last year, the quilt was Tennessee State University. And one of the things that I shared with you is the fact that Nashville is number 2 in HBCUs. The number 2 city in the United States in HBCUs is Nashville. So as a pastor in the church, I've come to understand after the pandemic that we don't understand our ownership. Say amen, somebody. All these folks telling you that the church ain't the building is a liar. It's our real estate. The churches are our real estate. It's our only real estate, except for our institutions. Our ancestors put dollars and quarters and pennies together to buy these churches all over this country. We own them. And we have not realized that we own the churches. It's the only collective in Black America. Every Sunday morning, nobody knows how many dollars we take to the Lord's house on Sunday morning. So what I've done in terms of institutions is that we're so divided in who we are that we think my school better than your school. But when we move beyond our personal levels of life, we realize that we got, anybody know how many HBCUs there are? Because that's just the first part of them. Who else? Somebody else come up and grab me.
Hold up our institution. I'll do it.
So during the pandemic, I'm a denim designer, but during the pandemic, I had to switch up, and God gave me an idea for HBCU t-shirts. And right now I'm sitting on 500 t-shirt designs, all original. I realized that we spend more money on fashion and clothing than anybody on the planet, but we don't own none of it. Young folk, we don't own none of the fashion industry. I want to see these shirts in some of the big department stores like Macy's in New York City. I ain't talking about the Macy's we got down here. But in the meantime, I purchased 350 Black women art rendering pieces. And before you leave, you're going to have to look up close and see that in each one of these designs, it has historically Black colleges and universities, starting with Alabama A&M. There are 105 HBCUs. Now you talk about some real estate. They're closing on us, and nobody has any consciousness of those that are closing and shutting down. Knoxville College got in trouble. Right here in Tennessee. Morris Brown is back. Yeah, Morris Brown is back. But in the meantime, what you see here is, and there's a third one that I'm still working on, which has the entire HBCU collection. And that's the quilt that I've completed in 2023.
Mama, would you mind telling us your name and where we can find this?
Actually, I want to tell you where to find me. I've been 16 years writing the column Faith of a Mustard Seed, published in the Nashville Pride. Now, I'm talking about that's a whole different level. Y'all don't even understand. For 16 years, and it's online. You can go to pridepublishinggroup.com every week and read my column, Faith of a Mustard Seed. Now, the t-shirts are on the Revs Tees. I'm an ordained minister. The Revs, TEES.com. But check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and let's hook up.
Thank you so much. Y'all give it up for all our amazing announcements today. And do I have the Barlow family back? All right.
All right. You going up there? Yeah, I'm giving it to you. Okay, so first up is Kathleen. She's our poetess. And our queen, Kathleen, currently holds 2 titles. She's the Pride of Tennessee for the local Elks Lodge. And just recently, she was crowned Miss Black Tennessee Talented Teen for 2024.
The title of my poem is Bleeding Blue. I have not attended TSU, but my veins bleed blue. With over 38 graduates from both sides of my family from the illustrious TSU. I look at the news and I mostly hear something misconstrued, insinuating that the president is incompetent in what she has to do. She's not, by the way. Dr. Glenda Glover deserves accolades from cover to cover, from the millions of dollars raised to the thousands of students that graduate. New dorms rise with hopes and dreams of achieving generational wealth and prosperity. The attack on TSU is personal. Our degrees are missiles. That's right, class of 2024, Associates of Health Sciences, that's all me. Smart black girl, a dangerous sight. We are a threat to society. Our knowledge of variety, of a coordinated attack on the racism in today's society. Governor Lee, Comptroller Munpower, and any other legislator that has their hands in the collection plate for this university, listen to me closely. You better run TSU their money, because more than $500 million not given to us is disrespectful, unjust, and just wrong, honestly. Don't get me started on the inadequacies of the land owed to this institution on the Cumberland Fertile Shore. The colonizing hands still trying to take black-owned land. I know I will not sit by and not take a stand. They say there is a housing problem, an administration problem, a financial problem. These are not unique to an HBCU, as Ivy Leagues need new dorms too. The microscopic view of the legislators, where many outweigh the few, has got to be shattered by the ones who say they love TSU. You say you love TSU? Then fight for it, and the president too. Because she has done nothing but uplift this school. Like the Jeffersons moving on up, Dr. Glenda Glover has given plenty students the opportunity to receive their piece of the pie through the blue unity. So stop the hate on Dr. Glenda Glover, because she done ate her whole presidency up. Now give me that plate. And to all the people that claim they care about TSU, act like it and stand up for TSU, because your veins should bleed blue too. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to, I tell you, I'm going to give you all what we would call, in my understanding, I am a preacher, and we have different denominations have different sayings. So I'm Pastor Barry Barlow, so I want to tell you that I'm going to have to try to put it where the goats can get it. That's country talk for you city folks, so you can really understand it. And then I'm going to have to cut across the field, because my nose is working and my stomach is too. So, but I do want to give this some justice, and I want to leave a little time for Jaylene, and we won't take our entire time. So I am a part of STIC, the Save the TSU Community Coalition. And what we are doing is shining the spotlight. We were the first ones to say that the university was owed more than just some $500,000. We were using the number 1.9 billion. Then the federal government came out and said, yeah, y'all was in the ball game, but it's at least 2.1 billion. So with that, like I said, I am a preacher, the pastor in the house. I'm not going to tear your sacred space up, doctor, but I want to borrow it for just a moment. And if I were going to do what I normally do, which is give a full sermonette to any audience that showed up to hear our STIC presentation, I would tell you tonight to look at 2 Samuel, and I would tell you to look at chapter 11, and I would tell you to journey with me through verses 1 through 8. And the reason I would ask you to do that, because in that narrative, there is a wonderful story of a person who at the time in his life, and most of us, irregardless of our faith, because of culture, we are familiar with the name of King David. So King David in this narrative has a lot. And King David, even though he has a lot, he's aware of a man that has only one little something. The Bible refers to it as one little ewe lamb. And what I'm going to do in just a few moments is to show you why social justice and liberation theology are very much needed in the African American church while we still live in this diaspora. Because it connects us to what we need to be connected to. Because, see, we have a system called the UT system that is trying to take our one little lamb. You got the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. You got the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. You got the University of Tennessee at Martin. You got the UT Memphis. And then you got all kind of look. The ag extension part of UT is functioning in all 95 counties. So ask yourself, why do they want that little place that's on the Cumberland fertile shores? Why do they want it? Because just like any greedy or misguided person, they see one little shiny something, and they just can't seem to rest with the notion that they can't get it yet. So in the narrative, David is eventually talked to by the prophet Nathan. And Nathan tells him real quick, look, David, king, there was a guy had one little lamb, and there's a guy got all this livestock. I'm paraphrasing to get through it real quick. And he said, but you know what this guy with all the livestock did? A guy came to town. And the guy, he came to town like anybody, like some of us right now, this guy was hungry. But instead of David or borrowing from all of what he had, he decides to get a hold to Uriah's, exegetically, I need to tell you, Uriah's wife. Uriah had one little wife, David had multiple wives. The same narrative is UT already has enough campuses. Why does it want one more? Why is it constantly fighting to get one more? Lost the battle downtown. TSU is the only HBCU to take on an 1890 school that took on an 1862 school over some land and won. We're the only ones to do that. And I know that's part of what's bothering them, but I wish they would just move on and leave it alone and leave us alone. Because in the narrative, what you come to realize is that the prophet comes to tell them, you're wrong. You have enough. See, you have enough. You have plenty. Under Dr. Glenda Glover, TSU just went over $100 million in this endowment. The UT has $1 billion already. So why do you want our little $100 million when you already got $1 billion? See, I'm telling you, it doesn't add up. We have to play our football games down largely at the Titan Stadium or in the hole that's in great need, and they have a stadium that seats over 100,000 people. Why do you want our one little lamb? See, and that's what we need to focus on. So what I want you to know and what I want you to understand, this all is derived from the fact when you go back to 1862, Abraham Lincoln is the president. Vermont Senator Justin Merrill says, look, things are changing, Mr. President. We've got we're in this agrarian society, but industry is coming online. So they started these schools called A&I, agricultural and industrial. They started schools like A&M, agricultural and mechanical. And the reason they did that is because when they tried to get these folks to work with folks who look like us, why can't we all just go to the same school, share the same space? People said no. We don't want, You know, it's about 2 decades almost in past. We don't want these freed slaves in our schools. So on August the 30th, 1890, the Merrill Act was passed. Now the Merrill Act said this. I'm just this one phrase. This one phrase is what we all need to understand is why we got to fight for TSU, Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover, and our money. Why we got to fight for it? Because it simply says this. Any state that did not allow African American students to attend this college or university must establish and fund a state college or university that African American students could attend. Period. If you don't get nothing else, get that. See, because the way we win is with the law, and this is their law. Their law says, you didn't let us go to school with you in 1862. So in 1912, as a part of the 1890 Land Grant Act, TSU was started. And let's be certain about it. There's some people saying, well, all the money ought to go to the ag department. No, it does not. Because let me tell you, as a person that's been doing the research, and there's other people can tell you, can verify, starting with the president, that $500 million likely comes from the ag department. But that $2.1 billion has come from known as a match, a land grant match. If I had time, I could show you a slide year by year to show you the amount of money that was taken in 2020 alone. I didn't say 1950, 2020. In 2020 alone, UT was allowed, because it didn't give us our money, they were allowed to spend about $15,000 on each of their students. TSU, the number was 8,000. Do you hear me? Because they kept this money from the federal government. Why do you think the head of the Department of Ag and the head of the Department of Education decided to come out and stand with Dr. Glover and say, yeah, it's $2.1 billion? They ain't going to stand on no lie. They got 6-figure jobs they don't want to lose. So if they didn't came out and said that, you better know it's facts and it's true. So here's what we need to do. So I can get on and let the nation of Barlow come up and do our part. So here's what we need to do. We need to be certain about this. We need to be certain about this. We'll have a meeting sometime early next year with the black legislators, and we're going to be asking for a few things. And right at the top of that ask is, we're going to ask that Dr. Glover be around, we being Stick, to stay around at least 2 more years. Or maybe through the remainder of the time of the governor's term, so that her and the governor can make sure TSU gets his money. Because we don't need to try to have someone else in place. Because, see, you got to understand something about David. We're dealing with Advent. We're dealing with Kwanza. We're dealing with all of this. So understand something. Just like David is a part of royalty that produces Joseph in the Bible and Jesus' mother Mary, all of that lineage, I believe Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover is royalty to TSU. I believe she's an alum above alum. And she has lived her entire 13 years at the helm of TSU under the same tenets that we find in the Bible. She has given her time. She's everywhere talking about TSU. She has given of her treasure. I was there the first commencement when she went in her purse and wrote that nice check out of her own money, gave it to the school. Fired me up. I just led my group, the men of Sigma. On June 30th, we gifted TSU our first $100,000 plus, because you know what they say, iron sharpen iron. I don't want to be hanging around somebody talking about I'm doing something and doing nothing. I wasn't raised that way. And then she has used her talents. Her talents. She used her smarts and her wits, her connectedness to get to those high-ranking officials to say, hey, I believe this story deserves some fact-finding. And the facts reveal that Forbes magazine was moving in the right direction when they said it's at least $1.9 billion. In that article, TSU is listed as the 3rd most harmed HBCU as a result of the land grant match. Money's not being given to them. But when the federal government got a hold to it, TSU went, like we do all the time, to the top. We're the #1 most harmed HBCU in terms of the 1890 land grant system. See? Yeah, and then this stuff is deep. And there's even some, in 1994, you have something called the TCU, the tribal colleges and universities. Now here's the point. If they had just let us all go together, you'd have never had this trouble. But they didn't want that. They didn't want to be with us. They didn't want to be with the Native Americans. So what am I telling you? We got some work to do. So on January 9th, the legislators go back in session. So you need to watch your social media. We are going to we got to start having meetings and rallies, and we have got to ultimately march on the Capitol. And we may wind up marching with other groups, because a whole lot of folks in Tennessee got problems. Gun rights, third grade retention. You know, teachers are not paid as well. They're trying to steal the money from the public schools and give it to the private schools in the K-12 system. All of this stuff is going on. But when you leave here tonight, when you leave, and I agree with your brother Will, if they want to talk about banning something, forget banning books, ban bad politics and bad policy. Ban that. So here's what we need. We need you to work with us to make sure that we keep Dr. Glover. We need you to work with us to help to make sure that we can make Africana Studies mission essential at TSU. Because the Bible tells you, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. A lot of knowledge has been shared in this room tonight. And you need to clearly understand that $2.1 billion is money that is owed to TSU because of the land grant match. The $500 million is money that was taken from TSU through the USDA system. All the while, the UT system had their hand right there getting their hands on it. Lastly, I want to give you 3 names. Jason Mumpower. Jason Mumpower is the Tennessee State Comptroller. This is his work phone number. His work phone number is 615-741-2775. Now, why do I want you to take that down? Because you need to call his assistants, and you need to say to them, not angrily, not with curse words, but politely, would you please work with Governor Lee and President Glover so TSU can get its money. You need to do the same thing to John Lumberg, who's the Senate Chair of Education. His work phone number is 615-741-7623. See, because they're not going to just give us this money. And if 2 or 3 of us go down there, they'll just dismiss us as a gnat flying by. There's powers in number. But if we all unite behind this cause, we'll win. We'll win. And we need the spirit of like the Tuskegee Airmen. They would say, we fight, we fight, we fight. They wouldn't give up. And then there's Bo Watson. And Bo Watson, I forgot his chair he's over. But Bo Watson is the 3rd person that needs to be called. And his work number is 615-741. And his number is 3277. So we need to call these gentlemen. We need to put these gentlemen on notice that we only want what is rightfully ours. Like Nathan, the prophet, told David in the Bible, you have enough. You shouldn't be taken from somebody who only has a little. And I want to say this, and I'm done. Let me say this. So you need to understand, family, Tennessee State University, we must stay persistent until we are granted justice. We must continue our fight for justice until we can say as a community the words in Amos 5:24. But let justice roll down as water and righteousness as a mighty stream. And say it with me. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. So Naislet Barlow, we're having a real good year. Naislet Barlow is Jaylene Barlow, and I want to introduce my wife, Dr. Merlene Barlow. She kind of holds us all together and works with us. Pastor Jaylene was walking around campus, and the fella that's over this New Direction choir, they were walking together, and he asked them, can any of y'all sing? We call Kathleen Minnie Mama, because you know she can get, you see her words, she can get interesting with her words. She said, you better sing, because I'm going to tell Daddy you don't sing. So Jaylene decided to sing. But what would interest you, Pastor, the way she made it in the New Direction choir, TSU's Grammy award-winning choir. The way she got in there, she's not going to sing that tonight, but the way she got in that choir, she took them to church. And she told them, I know it was the blood. And they let her in the choir. And so she's going to do a timely rendition for us tonight. So we can all leave here feeling good about the new year we're about to embark upon. And you say it in your house, I'm saying it in my house. We're going to say it to the White House and to the State House, because Sam Cooke's words are not old, but they are yet fresh and new. A change is going to come. Jaylene.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I wonder what's under the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me, sister, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother, yeah, and I say, brother, 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 help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down, back down, back down on my knees. Oh, there's been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long. 'Cause I'm able, I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a
a change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Oh my gosh. Y'all give it up. Put your hands together one more time for the Barlow family. So talented, so many generations. Y'all, and you know what? Give it up for yourselves and everyone that spoke tonight and shared on the powerful work that they're doing. Give it up for Mama Janine, Ms. Blackman here, taking us here every year. And thank you to the good people at St. Luke's CME Church. If we will all gather, circle around the pews and in the center, this is our time to come together for the Harambe Circle.
Pastor Poe, can you bless the food for us? We thank y'all so much. Joseph stood in the gap for me, came through. I appreciate you so much. I thank you guys for hanging with us. We have so much food because we're playing for 100 people. So that means you have to eat 3 times in order to get rid of the food. Because all of us are fasting in the new year. So get plenty of food, all right?
Thank you. I do want to say that I met Kwame through Lynn Ann Hayes probably 24, 25 years ago. And he was looking for a place to have Kwanza. And I said to him, why not here? Why not here? And so let me thank you for continuing to come. St. Luke is open to you. Amen.
Amen.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for all that our eyes have seen and all that our ears have heard. We simply ask that you would bring it to an increase. We don't know how you're going to do it, but we know that you can. You told us in your word that we are to plant and water, and you will bring about an increase. Thank you for everyone who has come tonight, and they've given of themselves in marvelous and magnificent ways. We pray now as we prepare to leave this space, this venue, that you will never leave us, no matter what. We pray your blessings upon the food that we will eat to give our bodies nourishment, strength, and energy to go on a little while longer. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ. Hallelujah and amen.
All right, if y'all would keep holding hands for our Harambe Circle, all right? And I will state the Kwanzaa principle, and if you would repeat after me, and then we will raise our hands up for a Harambe. And we'll do that through all 7 Nguzo Sabas, and after the last principle, Imani, we will raise our hand for, as you want to hold your breath and give a long Harambe as long as you can hold it, and to close us out in celebration as we transition to eat. That sound good? That makes sense? Ashe. All right. So, Umoja. Unity. Harambe. Kujichagulia. Self-determination. Harambe. Ujima. Collective work and responsibility. Harambe. Ujamaa. cooperative economics. Harambe, Nia, purpose. Harambe, Kuumba, creativity. Harambe, now our last one, Imani, faith. Harambe, thank y'all, beautiful people. Thank y'all, nature's drummers. Love you. Thank you, St. Louis.